Hey, everybody, it's Lauren Lee with the Lauren Lee Group in Cincinnati, Ohio, and with eXp Realty. I have an awesome guest today, and we're going to learn some really cool things with James Wilson, the great JamesWilson.com of the Curtis Johnson Group out of Metro Phoenix. How you doing today, James?
I am doing unbelievable. How about you, Lauren?
I'm fabulous. All I'm doing is continuing to look at those Bengals colors, but it's inspiring me to have a lot of excitement for the weekend.
Love it. Yeah, a lot of people into sports, and they're loving the winning teams now.
Well, since our team is going to be the winning team, I'm overjoyed.
I bet. It always feels good when you're on the winning side, for sure.
Well, let's segue that into what we're going to talk about today. How, as individual agents, can we start a winning team? You are the director of sales and training with the Curtis Johnson Group. And so, you're pretty much about sales and training and teams, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a small team here of 35 agents.
35.
Just getting started, 35 agents. No, Curtis has run a team for about 22 years. And like most people, we almost all realize that we're going to run out of time. There's only 24 hours in the day. And if we want to serve more clients or customers, we want to serve more buyers and sellers, somehow we've either got to go to the copy machine and copy ourselves, or we've got to learn some type of leverage technique, whether that's a system, a piece of software, whether that's hiring an assistant. And so generally, out of necessity, we almost always find we need support.
Absolutely. And so like you said, we can't recreate ourselves. So as we leverage time, what would our first hire be if we wanted to build a team? Are you of the philosophy that we have to do an admin first? Or if we use a transaction coordinator, can we just start bringing people on and delegate ourselves to increase that revenue right away?
It's a great question, and people ask me that all the time. We've served over 6,000 families, and a lot of people don't realize, if you go interview General Custer, he will tell you, do not reinvent the wheel. You don't need to take the arrows, right? He's taken the arrows. Get with people who have a little more experience and who've traveled the road ahead of you, and they can kind of go over what are the best practices. And that's really what we've tried to do, is model the best practices. So it's not about right or wrong. It's not about blame, shame, or guilt. It's about getting clear on yourself. What type of business do you want to run? And so a typical real estate team follows today a rainmaker model. And when I mean rainmaker, I mean there's, let's say Lauren Lee, she makes it rain. She causes the business to happen. She generates so much business for herself that now she needs to get more support. And so in my world, it doesn't matter to me if you hire an administrative transaction person first, or if you hire a buyer's agent first, or a listing partner first. Doesn't matter to me. It should just matter to you. And so that's where it gets interesting, because a lot of the driven, top performant personalities are all about results. They generally do whatever it takes to get the result we're looking for. And that gives them some amazing skill sets. And it also gives them some large gaps or opportunities for improvement, meaning they're not always really good at certain aspects of the business. And this is a business, meaning that even though we all start out as this solopreneur, we're this individual operator, at a certain level of production, whether it's 10 homes and you're overwhelmed, or whether it's 100 homes by yourself, at some point you say, I got to have some help. And so I think, number one, just get clear on who you are. What do you want your business to look like? And so many times the rainmaker hasn't thought it through. Well, what is 10 years from now? What are you looking for? And I think that's the first question to ask yourself. 10 years from now, as you look back, what is it that you want to have created? Are you looking for a situation where you still go to every listing appointment? Are you looking to go hang lock boxes? Are you looking to go out and show homes and tour properties? Because if that's not what you want, then you want to set it up differently than most people that are running that solopreneur. So again, if you're the rainmaker,
Mm-hmm.
they generally quickly decide they need an administrative assistant. They need somebody who has that attention to detail on the paperwork. They can stay in compliance with the broker and the state. And they've got so many plates spinning because generally the rainmaker is working somewhere between 50 and 300 clients at a time. And
Absolutely.
most solopreneurs have one house RAM. That's the best analogy I can give people. They get one home and they get one client, and they stop their prospecting. They're going to go find that client a house, and then they're going to put it in escrow, and then they're just going to work that, inspections, appraisal. Okay, keys are done. Now I'm going to go work the phones. And that, quite honestly, is not a business.
Nope.
That is self-employed.
Absolutely. Now I can tell you for myself, as an EXP agent, I want financial freedom.
Okay.
So, I mean, I want the long-term haul where I am not transactional anymore and I am creating passive revenue. So how do I leverage myself? How does the average agent who really wants independence, financial freedom, wealth creation, legacy giving, how can we bring those people in to make that happen? And say we don't want to wait the 10 years. Say we want an accelerated plan where we're going to do this and we're going to do it smartly and efficiently.
Well, I think if we're really clear again from the beginning on our mindset. So we just now shifted to say, oh, wait a minute. I'm not a realtor. I am not a rainmaker. I'm a business owner.
Yeah, CEO.
And I attract and I train and I collaborate with other business owners. So, for example, my wife's been in the hair business like 35 years, and they go through that whole process of, same thing. They go from being their own person, booth rent and all that, to owning their own shop. And then at some point they say, wait a minute, I'm tired of cutting hair. And so you want to be the owner of the business.
I do.
You're not the person who's doing the business. So there's being the technician. So a great book is The E-Myth, of course, and The E-Myth Revisited. You definitely want to understand the business, and being a technician and being licensed in our industry is important to be the business owner, in my opinion. So you have some empathy and understanding. But as the business owner, you're more interested in processes and procedures. So it's not tied to a person. The rainmaker is tied up in their own identity of the person. So they're marketing Lauren Lee instead of the Lauren Lee Group. Lauren Lee would be the business. Or even bigger vision would be, I'm going to locate and attract people that want to own a real estate business. They don't necessarily want to be a realtor, but they want to own a real estate business. And that has to do with mindset. 80% of what we accomplish is our mindset. Only about 20% is the actual doing of the work. And so many real estate agents who come from other industries, they get sold in this fast money, and I'm going to make this huge living, and I'm going to open lock boxes and hang signs. And that is transactional. And that is, again, there's just no leverage there. And so when you realize you're running out of time, you're in trouble.
Let me just grab you right there, because I don't want you to get too far down the road before we talk about that mindset. If 80% is mindset, we got to bring you back for a second. And I kind of want to stew a little bit more on that mindset thing, because, hey, 80% is a decent figure.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Give us a little bit of tips on that mindset.
Sure. Well, think about, so Ray Kroc, who went and franchised the McDonald's business, he didn't say, let me go be an operator of a franchise. Let me go open a location and let me make small, medium, large burgers, fries, and a shake. He didn't do that. He said, wait a minute now. I'm going to be selling business opportunities to people who want to be in business, people that want to be self-employed, people who want to rely on themselves. People, of course, in our industry, and the thing that we have going for us is it's not about just being an agent, but being an owner agent, which is just a huge plus. And when the aspect comes, we call it kind of mailbox money, right? So, I mean, if every time somebody in your business sells a house and you can get a check, that's an amazing opportunity. Unlike so many other franchises, I remember when I got out of the military, Subway was the latest franchise, and they were running about $50,000. And before I pulled the trigger, I went and interviewed an owner of a Subway franchise. And I went to go down to the restaurant to find the guy, and he was actually there making sandwiches.
Oh,
And
wow.
it just so happened. And I said, well, don't you own this business? Aren't you a business owner? He goes, well, yeah, but when you don't have quality staff, you're making sandwiches. And I went, oh, well, that's not the kind of business I wanted. I didn't want to, make the sandwiches, or, if you're like me, a child of the 80s, time to make the donuts. I didn't want to do that. So you got to start with that business owner mindset and start thinking differently. Employees and business owners think totally differently.
Mhm.
Business owners, again, are thinking about strategically, what are the things I need to put in place? What am I doing for lead generation? What happens after I generate a lead? How does that lead get serviced? And then how does it go from a suspect to a prospect to an appointment? And then when we have an appointment, is there any consistency in that presentation and dialogue? Is there actually a presentation, or is everybody just winging it? Because if you're going to own a business, then you're going to have a process or system to support the business. And so many people come into real estate from other industries, and they don't even have a clue. What do you mean by a buyer presentation? What do you mean by a listing? Don't you just go over comps and they hire you? Well, they do if you're not needed, meaning that if you believe that you're like a travel agent and they only see you as a necessary evil to go on vacation, you're out of business. It's just a matter of time. We don't really use travel agents anymore. I don't know. Only the wealthy use travel agents. And so there may be coming a time where only the wealthy use real estate agents. And so you want to make sure you own a business. And so you got to think about it as a business. What time do you open? Well, if you bought a McDonald's franchise and you paid $1 million for it, they will tell you after you go through Hamburger University, the franchise school, they tell you open at 5 a.m. And they'll tell you it's small, medium, large. You don't get to serve hot dogs at noon. That is not the McDonald's mold. And so you got to be a business owner and think about your business. And you get to decide. And the framework of the overall EXP brokerage is amazing, because no longer do you have to pay this master franchise fee and get permission to market in different zip codes and all the other crazy things, but you get to build internationally from day one. And so you get to automatically start out as a business owner. So the best people for our business are really business-minded owners that aren't even in real estate yet. And so there are people that probably haven't even gotten their license yet, but they see the opportunity to own a business and have an income stream of revenue. Just like if you said, I'm going to go open a dental practice, but I'm not a dentist. I don't need to be a dentist. I hire dentists to do the dental work. So if you're a doctor, you set up, medical services. So this is the business of real estate, and it's much different than doing real estate. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were saying that, I don't know that being an owner of a business is kind of talked about in the industry, really.
Sure.
Like, I remember just starting off, they just teach you the basics. If they kind of teach you that and you just kind of flounder for a little bit and you try to apply the techniques and you kind of go out there and teach yourself in some respects. Training, yes, you've got basics, but in the end, you're the one going out there and making it happen and taking on this task of becoming the agent, getting skilled, creating value, offering it up to clients. So I don't think at any point had it ever been described to me, hey, you can become a business owner. There's opportunities for you to be bigger than just a transactional person where, you get a lead, like you were saying, you run off, you do your little dance, and then you come back and do the same thing, rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, I got my real estate license in 2001. And all the sales I did way back then, I don't get paid on right now.
Nope.
So then what kind of business do you own? You own a job when you're in sales. Nope. And you're only as good as your last sale. And if you did $1 million last year, congratulations, go do it again. Go do it again. Go do it again. You don't own a business. But when you're a business owner, then you deploy resources and you invest in markets. And you do generate business and you create opportunities for so many other people to have an opportunity. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're working in merchants of hope and opportunity. Who's looking for an opportunity with the latest pandemic and people sick of going to cubicles and stuck in the corporate ladder? Here's an opportunity as we expand. We're at 16, 17, 18 countries, going to 100 countries. We're at, in the mid 73 to 75,000 agents, on our way to 1 million agents. And there's 930,000 more agents yet to join our company. And we're looking for the business owners looking for us so that we can have them as part of our expansion team into India, into Australia, into Mexico, into Israel, into Germany and the UK. And so there's amazing opportunity for business owners. And technicians are welcome, but they'll just be doing transactions. And it's a great way to make money. I've made money doing transactions for 15, 16 years. But business ownership is much different.
I feel like I wish that I had known that the mindset of being the business owner was an achievable, possible, easily executable opportunity from the very beginning. Because then I would have known that what I was working for every single day was going to get me something in the end. And I think that was kind of what happened to me at one point. And I know I'm kind of diverging here, but a light bulb did go off at one point that I was just kind of a transactional person that really wasn't going to have a job someday. And all of this business that I thought I was building wasn't really going to deliver in the end. And I didn't want to do that anymore. So yeah, I did decide I want to be CEO of a company. And I love that. I do. I did. Here I am.
I love that you use that word CEO because CEOs get paid to make decisions. That's what they get paid to do. Mm-hmm. So many times I will catch once or twice a year people all upset that a CEO got a bonus of X millions of dollars, and when you think they work harder than the people out on the production floor. They don't work harder, but they make harder decisions. Mm-hmm. You see, the decision on the production floor is: should I get up this morning? Should I be at work on time? Should I do a good quality job? The decisions of the CEO is, do we invest X million of dollars to go into this market? Do we deploy this marketing strategy? Are we hiring additional staff for expansion? Do we have a great training program? Do we have employee retention? Different level decisions because they're solving different problems. And so the CEO mindset is totally different than the technician mindset.
So the big question, James, again, is how do we go to the next level? So we've got the mindset now. We get that there's a huge potential for future here, that we can be in charge of our destiny, that we can achieve financial freedom as a realtor. How do we do that? We're going to grow. We want to grow. How do we level up?
Well, number one, we have to know what the offer is. Just like in any sale, and sales is business and business is communication. So if I'm going to communicate effectively, I have to be clear on what is it that I'm offering people. So if I'm going to expand, I'm going to need to have more resources. And I'm looking for vice presidents. I'm looking for the president of my organization across the globe. I'm looking to expand into other states. And so I'm looking for a business partner in Texas. I'm looking for a business partner in Florida. And so the offer for my business partner is very specific. It requires clarity. I have to really communicate the value, what's in it for them, because that's all everybody's interested in, what's in it for them. And so the way we expand is, again, we look inward and get clear on, okay, what is the messaging that I am trying to attract a certain person? We call that an avatar. Like, who is the ideal person? Now, some of us, I've always grown up with, you don't want to work with anybody you wouldn't want to have for dinner. If you wouldn't invite them over to your house for dinner, you probably don't want to work with them. And that's the beauty about building your own business and being your own CEO. You don't have to work with everybody. So we have to start by sorting. And the only way we can sort for the right partner and the wrong partners, we have to ask some real clarifying questions. So number one, are you looking for business-minded individuals? Mm-hmm. Are you looking for people that are planners? Are you looking for somebody that can operate within a budget? Do they have a track record of running a business, or do they have the skill set that they need? And what do they bring to the table? And then what is it that you feel they need to perform? What functions do they need to perform at a high level? And so for me right now, when you're in an expansion mode, mm-hmm. you're looking for leaders, not managers. And there's a huge difference between a leader and a manager. Leaders, they get a high level task. We're looking to expand. We want to add, 3 regional centers. So I'm looking for people to go in and get those up and running. So, it's like saying, if you're going to have a company, you're going to be in a startup mode. The startup tasks are different than an existing, just keep the wheels kind of running, if that makes sense. So mm-hmm. as we want to expand, we're looking for expansion leaders to be our partners. And we got to know what the offer is. And if we don't know what our offer is, and this is where I think so many of us struggle, and in many ways myself, I'm constantly redefining what my offer is. Because here I am, the director of sales and training on a huge team, and I am also building my own business. And as I work through the value proposition, it is constantly having to evolve. And I think, again, it always comes back to, if I were to walk away and I didn't do any transactions, would I have any income? And if you can still have income, like if you left for 30 days, would your business still pay you? Then maybe you own a business. And if it doesn't, then we got to put systems in place to bring in that revenue. And so hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. What systems would you recommend? Tell us a little bit more about how your people are going to function without you, and what systems do you typically use?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So number one, we start with our mindset. We automatically start at the very, very beginning. I'm letting them know we only hire leaders. So if you've made it through the gauntlet, the front door of the interviewing and the screening process, then you are a leader. We see it in you. I get you may not see it yet, but in our business, our customers are looking for leaders. Our customers have real estate type problems they need help solving, so they need a leader. And then as they come in under our wing, under our umbrella, so to speak, we put them through an entire coaching, training, and mentoring process so they can go from day one, starting on the team, to being a full-fledged, run their own team, their own branded scenario, and they could build internationally, and they can duplicate as big as they want to build. And we have people that we have brought in and coached to sell 50, 60, 100 homes a year who've gone on to start their own teams. We just had one last week who sold his business to Reology, and he got paid just over $1 million for his brand, and he's super excited about it. He was somebody that we trained here locally, and he looked at the opportunity that we were offering, and he had realized pretty quickly, wait a minute, I'm kind of stuck on this treadmill. He'd been running his team for about 8.5 years, and he really loved our model, but he said, I really feel like I can't just walk away. And so he was one of the lucky few that was able to sell his business. But what he didn't understand, and we tried to tell him, and he learned this week, he really got a check to be an indentured service. So now what he has to do, he sold his team to another company, but he has to continue on for 5 more years running the team. And now he's like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I thought I was going to be able to come work with you guys now and join the EXP fire and get super excited with this collaboration. And now he's got these handcuffs on him for another 5 years. And so, friends don't let friends make these kind of mistakes. And so I think so many of us don't realize that people right now are praying for a solution. They're praying for, how can I start my own business? How can I work from home? How can I build a global brand? How can I make a difference in the world? And they just need us to come answer their prayers. And so we got to talk to more people about what we're doing and the opportunity we have to offer. And I think the way we do it, again, is get clear on our message. And they really show them, for me, it's not really about me at all. I mean, I'm kind of like the little bonus on the side. I am letting them see, what do they get with this huge business model and framework that's been set up, where the CEO of the company has said, you know what, I want partners. I don't want employees. When you sell homes, I want to give you stock. When we do well, we all do well. And that's what brings about the collaboration. And so when you get to network and you get to collaborate with people all over the world, you get to learn the best practices in all those markets. And so again, what is it that you want to build? And so you almost have to get biblical. You got to start with the end in mind, right? So you want mailbox money. You want mailbox money in your check every month in your bank. You don't want to sell houses every day. So what you got to do is you got to start identifying, well, what kind of leadership do you need? Now, we like to grow our leadership, but we're also open to attracting it. And in order to attract the leadership, you have to model what it is that you're looking for. Hopefully that helps.
No, absolutely. And I think that, that's what you're doing here, today in a way. You're sharing the vision of, jumping on a train that's headed to a destination, and people can make that choice. Do I want to follow this model that'll take me somewhere, or not follow it and be content with the model that you're in? And so I do agree that beginning of that self-reflection, figuring out what you want, choosing to take maybe a risk, choosing to take maybe a hard look at yourself, and realize you might have some strengths and weaknesses that you have to work on to get you to the next level. But if you surround yourself with like-minded people, then you have the support to make changes that will help you level up your business, help you grow in ways that you don't know how to grow, and find people to invest in you, just like you're doing right now, James. And I want to say I'm super excited because we're not only going to have you today to start off our beginning level up, but we're going to have you back again to talk about more teams, larger teams, expansion teams, and kind of some more of the nuts and bolts of how to make that happen, so we can reach agents who are at every different level of production.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, for me, I'm looking for someone to be the next James Wilson on their team, in their business, to be the next director of sales for their own business. So I'm not looking for employees. I'm not looking to have somebody come on some sales team for some 50-50 split where every time they sell a house, somehow I'm getting rich. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who says, you know what, I'm coachable. I want independence. I want to learn. And I'm going to say, look, all you need to do is show up, put your foot exactly where I tell you to go. Like, we're going to go up to Mount Everest and I'm your tour guide. I've been to Mount Everest. Put your foot exactly where I tell you to put it and shadow me. And over the next few months, let's get you up to speed so that you can be building your own business. That's, to me, the exciting piece about what we have to offer, where I'm not in competition with all the other realtors in my marketplace. But more importantly, I'm not training my competition, meaning this. In the old real estate model, you would hire agents that would come on your team, you would train them, and then in order for them to become their own team leader, they'd have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And when they would leave, now you're both competing against each other for listings and escrows and all that. And I don't like that scenario where I'm training my competition. I want to collaborate and have a long-term relationship with this person. And I want them to win, because when they win, I win, because we're in the same company. And it's one big fire. Such a good analogy for what we're building, because if you're around the campfire and you know how things like the wood like pops and crackles, and then the hot ember pops out and it's 3 feet away from the fire. When you're out on your own, you start to struggle. You lose the passion, you lose the heat. But when you come back in to the main fire, you get to build on all the excitement and all the energy of what's going on, not just in your market center, but all over the globe. And again, you're not alone. And you get to avoid the shiny objects and get really clear and focused on building your business.
I mean, as you're speaking, it's reminding me of the fact that these traditional team models are set up the way you just described. And aren't they truly inherently set to fail if you do them the way traditional brokerages teach you how to grow?
They are set up so that the leaders at the top of the franchise, every time you sell a home, there's a franchise fee in a traditional model. There's a split, there's transactional fees. I can't even tell you how many times in a different franchise model, we would go in to turn in an escrow and the transaction team would go, really? Another one? We only collect a few $100s per sale. And after you sell 10 homes, gosh, we don't make any more money. So could you just slow it down a little bit? And we're just like, what are you talking about? Seriously? We're trying to build a business and grow an empire and this was not here. This is at a different franchise. And getting pushback around, you're using too many resources. Like, what are you talking about? That was supposed to be your value to us, was you were all these resources, but now you're mad we're using like, that's craziness. And so I remember very early on, we wanted to do some marketing in a specific zip code. And we were told, well, unfortunately, your franchise agreement, it limits you to these 3 zip codes. We're like, what? I'm licensed in the state to sell real estate throughout the state. Well, yeah, but you have an agreement that you can only market in these 3 zip codes. Like, that's craziness. And that's another exciting thing about EXP and the One Big Fire. I can do business with anybody in the world. I'm part of a mastermind. I can refer buyers and sellers, investors. I can locate business owners that want to get into the real estate space. I can refer them to my broker partner in India. I can refer them to my broker partner in Israel and Germany and in Mexico City, and expand my reach and my business. And I can let people behind the curtain, and I can teach them the best practices on how to do buyer consultation, how to do a seller consultation. And I don't have to keep it a secret. Our industry has set so many people up to fail and to not get any bigger. You know, as I managed the call center for realtor.com, I used to see there's all these marketing efforts to get people to go to real estate school, but they don't want you to learn how to do real estate. You just need to pass the test so they can keep their accreditation. But there's no interest in you learning to do real estate. And then periodically you'll get an audit from your state. And as your state comes in and you start to look at what they're auditing, you go, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't you, as a representative of the state, want me to have a bigger business and try to be successful and serve more clients? Oh, no. We're looking to find out, where all the gotchas are and how, this rule is set up to make sure that the general public doesn't get mad at the state. It's not set up for you to be a more successful business person. So these things are like an afterthought. Nobody's thinking about running a successful real estate business that are actually in positions of what you would think are leadership. Managing the call center for realtor.com, we operated the website for the National Association of Realtors. This is before Zillow even existed. And you kind of get in these conversations and you go, well, wait a minute. Aren't we supposed to be the ones that are servicing all these people? Oh, no. We're just worried about the brand and the logo and the public's opinion. And that is all important. I'm not saying that's not. We want to protect the public. But don't we also want our customer, who's the realtor, to be successful? And so it's such a breath of fresh air to now work with people who want to see me succeed. My board of directors, the 7 seats on my board, are all individuals that have been more successful than me in real estate. They're a text and a phone call away. They've done millions of sales, millions of transactions. And at any time, I can get a hold of probably 3 to 5 of them at any minute. And thank goodness they have reinforced to me, James, you're capable. James, you're a leader. And you can totally solve these problems. And I'm so excited to be on here with you, Lauren.
Well, thank you. I do have to say that my real estate career, the last 4 years, has been nothing but energizing. And I think that when, again, you're with people that have no skin in the game to take anything away from you, but they just have open arms to just freely invest in wherever you're at, meet you where you're at, grow you where you're at, answer questions. The confidence that comes from that, the results that come from that, has just energized my business. I'm actually in the process of growing a team, James, and I didn't think that I would be doing that, so I looked inside, evaluated, and decided, hey, I'm going to expand. I don't want to be working 24/7. Like you said and described, that is something I want my checks to come when I'm not present. I'm looking at seeing what that looks like for me and making that a reality. So excited is a great word.
And we have such an opportunity because the entire industry has not set up realtors to really win. Again, they really just want you to pay your dues. They just want you to be a member of the association and sell 1 or 2 homes a year. And gosh, to have an opportunity to be trained, coached, and mentored by top performers all over the world, One Big Fire. Here's the other thing I want to point out real quickly, guys. Almost everybody by now has heard of our company EXP, but what they don't know is there's only about 15% of real estate agents, even within our company, that are actually building and growing and teaching their teams to build and grow. And 85% of the people they're just happy selling houses. And that's perfect. We all need to sell houses. If nobody sells houses, it doesn't work. So we all sell houses. But we want to sell houses at a high level, and we want to build businesses at a high level because we want to have super long careers, longevity. And there's an estimated 25 million agents across the globe. Wow. So we're at about 73 to 75,000 agents right now. One of the fastest growing brands right now in the marketplace. And we're, again, that brokers without offices, right? So if you're looking at the Airbnb model, or you're looking, when I started in real estate, I love this story. I used to have to drive a cab on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to have gas money to go on real estate appointments during the week. I mean, I know what it's like to be broke. Not fun. But one of the biggest forms of transportation now, both Uber and Lyft, and they don't even have cars. So here we are in an industry, one of the largest industries in the country around real estate. Everyone lives their life in real estate. You sleep in real estate, you go to work in real estate, you get breakfast in real estate, you eat lunch in real estate. It's all driven by real estate. And you've got an opportunity literally to print money if you find business-minded people that want to lock arms and learn the best practices. And I'm super excited to be working with everybody.
Well, James, it has been so exciting to listen to all of your feedback today and your great advice. I think the big takeaway here is 80% of everything is mindset. And you've just shown us today that we have the opportunity to choose to be the CEO of our business, that, you can grow in whatever ways you choose to. It's really just all up to you. And we have the model that'll do it. And you've taught us kind of how to start the leveling up process. And I'd love to have you back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time we get together, we'll go into really specific details on how do we build and grow? What do we do? How do we go from this level to this level? You want to sell 10 homes, you're going to sell 50, you're going to go to 100, 300. We absolutely go over all of that.
That sounds fabulous. Well, James, again, thegreatjameswilson.com if you want to connect with James, but you can reach me also at thelaurenleegroup.com. I'd love to chat with anybody today about questions about growing your businesses and just expanding your mindset and being more successful.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, James. You take care.
Yep, you got it.